नहीं सर, चेहरे हो गए सर, रोक बना।
लेकिन नहीं करोगी तो किचन में करना पड़ेगा, करना जरूर पड़ेगा, काम तो करना। केवल किचन चाहिए तो भी कोई बुराई नहीं है, Greek language, and he wrote in a Greek language, and whatever the views he expressed in his poetics, it is only on the behalf of the Greek literature. And he gave the first definition of tragedy in his book that was known as Poetics. What is the name of the book? Is Poetics. Actually, what happened when Aristotle was a disciple or the student of Plato. And Plato was a disciple of Socrates. And Aristotle, the disciple, is Alexander the Great. So we have this chronology, and in which we are talking about the Aristotle. Although that he gave the concept of tragedy or some other aspect from his guru, that was Plato. But Aristotle has given in a written form. Plato has given only the oration. And he gave the first definition of tragedy in his book that was known as Poetics. Although that he was not writing a book, he was just a collection of papers. As you know that Aristotle was also a philosopher. So he wrote around 24 or 26 pages, and in which he defined the tragedy and comedy also. Unfortunately, what happened that we lost the comedy concept, the papers in which that he wrote about the comedy. He gave the first definition of tragedy in his Poetics, that is, tragedy then an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude in language imbalanced with each kind of artistic ornament, the several kind of being found in the several parts of the play in the form of action through pity and fear affecting the proper purgation of these emotions. So this is the full definition of tragedy, and you should prepare this thing. If you prepare this definition of tragedy, afterwards you can give the answer. You are able to give the answer of all the questions related with Aristotle. There are the 5 or 6 or 7 questions related with Aristotle. Concept of tragedy, definition of tragedy, concept of ideal tragic hero, theory of imitation, and theory of catharsis also. And one of them is a catharsis, very important. Recently in graduation exam also they asked about the catharsis. Can anyone define what is catharsis? Catharsis is the releasing of unhealthy emotions. Have you seen the Nataraj Murti? Nataraj idol, जिसमें Lord Shiva in a dancing position. आपने देखा?
Yes, sir.
So what happened? Whenever the Lord Shiva, there were the 8 or 9 types of dances danced by the Lord Shiva. One of them is a Tandav Nritya. And in Tandav Nritya, what happened? Whenever the Lord Shiva was in angry mood, then he started to dance. And that dance is cooling down his unhealthy emotions. In or another way that we have the another example. Suppose you take the example of a child. What happened? The child is crying or child is not following your instruction. Then you becomes very annoyed. What happened? That you give the tight slap on the cheek of the boy or the girl or the child. So what happened? After some time that he was crying, I take the sound sleep. So what happened? That he lost his unhealthy emotion by crying. आप भी जब कभी खुश नहीं है तो आपने जोर से ना इसको उठा के पटक दिया या आपने किसी से तू तड़ाक करी. That is also the releasing of unhealthy emotions. So that is catharsis. Earlier there was a catharsis is the purification of the emotions. So these are the 5 or 6 questions associated with this concept of tragedy, and you should have the knowledge before going to any competition. It is just that I am giving you the glimpses of those things. So please go through that things and understand those things, and after that you will be able to get the answer. Main questions, suppose. Thank you.